Hey, how's it going? I was actually throwing some weights around in a casual manner while I was picking up, and it had me thinking. One, you should not throw weights around in a casual manner, but I'm still slightly 12 years old, so I do things like that sometimes. So I was just, I was throwing and tossing around, playing with stuff. I was sending one up in the air, and it had me thinking, there's a skill that I want my clients to have, but maybe the world in general. And I call it the bend but don't break. And it's in an exercise world, it's called the hinge. All right? And so, we got an exercise that we're doing where we actually are using this position there. I think it's very fundamental. It's very important for life to be able to do this. So the idea here is I'm going to pick up this bar, and I can lift it, and I can set it down without bending my back. And you can see if I tip over here, my back is staying real straight, and I can set it down on the ground. I can come down here, and I can pick it up off the ground. I'm maintaining a straight back as I do that. And so, there's an exercise we're doing this month. We're actually tipping forward. We're doing a little bit of a row, in there. And that tip forward is a very common position. But what happens a lot of times, in life in general, gardening, do all this stuff like that, so what happens is when we try to start tipping forward, there's just a pathway. We haven't trained that motion over and over again, so you have to teach it. You have to learn how to do that. So some of us maybe we're being modest, and we don't want to stick our butt out, so our back ends up curving there. All right. Most often, I think it's actually hamstrings. So when I stick my butt out, my hamstrings start getting tight. So instead of that happening, I bend my back and I go down and pick something up, and that's the best way to rupture a disc in your lower back, and I can vouch for it. All right, so I have ruptured one of those when I was 21 years old. Did one of those, and I did lots of bending and all sorts of stuff that I shouldn't have been doing. And I've learned since then. I've learned how to do this bend in my body, but don't break. All right, so I'm much more likely to drop the weight than I am to lift it in the wrong way. I'm gonna let go of that thing. I'm gonna let it fall, because I'm not gonna put myself in a bad spot, for that. All right, so it is better a lot of times to just not lift it, or let it go if you start feeling like you're gonna break from that position. So the one big thing to practice is you can start with hands on the knees, stick your chest out, stick your butt out, get yourself into that, get yourself used to being able to get to that position. And then, can you get to that? All right, you can practice in front of a mirror. So right now you can see me from the side. You can practice in front of a mirror and just say, can I keep my back straight? Can I tip over and keep my back straight, even somewhat? Now, to get all the way down to the ground, that's really far. So to do that, you're gonna have to bend the knees a little bit. And it's a little bit more work to keep the back straight as you do that. You're gonna need more flexibility in your legs to do that. And that's possible. You've got to build it over time. We've got several other exercises this month that are really working on that mobility and that flexibility. These are practical things for life. All right? So I was just thinking, as I was just slopping weights around and slinging them up in the air and stuff, I was like, I can do a lot of fairly aggressive things with the weights, because I've trained that, practiced that so much, that I'm just so, it's drilled into me. One, ruptured disc, I learned that, but also just practicing over and over again how to move without putting my lower back at risk. I'm using my hips, using my flexibility, and training up on some of that stuff. So that's something I want to teach more and more people. So if you see this, hopefully learn that, practice that, get flexible in the hamstrings, get flexible in the hips so you can get down. I don't care if you're 70 years old, you can still do it. Our bodies still bend and move. It's just gonna take a minute to get that going, but if you stay after it, you can do it. There's a whole lot of people in some of these Asian countries where they squat and they hang out down here for a whole lot of time, and they're in their 80s. All right, so it is not a thing. I can't do that because I'm old. No, you can't do that because you haven't practiced it. All right, so I would love more people to learn that move, as well as several others. So practice it, stretch, let your body move. Teach that without a lot of weight first. Practice that position without using heavy weights, and then you can get to a place where you can do that while experiencing a lot of challenge. All right. So I don't know if that's helpful, but I thought about it and I was like, you know what, that could be helpful if somebody heard it. All right, you guys have a great Friday, I guess a Good Friday, and a great Easter weekend. God bless, and I'm very, very thankful for the work that I get to do, and I hope I do that in a way that that honors God, you know, and the actions that we do, the way we conduct ourselves, and how we try to serve. So I am very thankful for the promises and the freedom and the gift that comes on Sunday. All right, so Easter Sunday, Resurrection Sunday, you know, it is pretty special, and I stake everything on it. All right, so if you don't have to, but man, if you want to talk about it, I'm game for talking. All right, have a great weekend.